Chase Thomas podcast. My nephew needs me to record. See, I already hate it. I hate it.
All right, we're back here on the Chase Thomas podcast, where I'm now joined by a first timer. Heath Shuler is here. He wore number 21 at Tennessee not too long ago. The Shuler number 21 at Tennessee is also very recent, with Navy rocking 21 the last couple of years as well. Heath Shuler, former Tennessee Vols quarterback, former NFL quarterback. How are you doing, sir?
Hey, doing great, Chase. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you for being here. So I have to start out of the gate here because I have a lot of family that went to UT and were big fans of yours back in the day. And when I told them that I was going to be talking with you this week, they immediately wanted to know how you think you would have been in Josh Heupel's offense. Because I have a certain uncle who's just like, I really, really wish I could have seen Heath in this scheme. And the other one is you versus Conrad Holloway. Like, who would actually end up putting bigger numbers playing under Heupel at Tennessee?
Well, I'll leave that to the other folks. I'm a big fan of Conrad Holloway, and during my freshman year, Conrad and I spent an incredible amount of time together. We would sneak into the indoor facility when everyone else was gone at night, and he would work me out. And so we would go through drills and quicker release. He was really helped me out my freshman year, because obviously during the season, as a freshman playing, the starter's a 5-year senior, Andy Kelly. I mean, I got a little playing time. I probably played more snaps at wide receiver and tailback that year than I did at quarterback. But it was having Conrad help me through, just trying to go from a high school level to the collegiate level and getting some of that extra coaching late in the evening when everyone else had gone home. We'd sneak in. I learned so much from him, and I owe a great deal to Conrad Holloway. I'm a big fan of his.
Isn't it kind of interesting sometimes? Because one of the things I've always thought was interesting about your career and your success is, I think when people talk about he was ahead of his time and Heath would have just flourished. And I'm like, well, he did flourish in his time. It's one of those things where I'm like, I mean, he's a first round NFL draft pick. He was really good at Tennessee. So in some ways, I understand that people wanted to see you, and we're just with where offenses have gone and the RPO scheme and just how spread out and tempo based so many things are. But isn't there part of you that's like, well, I mean, I was pretty good in this game, and it was actually pretty good because I was different than the other quarterbacks at the time,
Yeah, I mean, if you kind of look back to the 92 season, we were a different style than we were in 93. Mm-hmm. So 92 was my first year. I had a few snaps, and it was quite different than it is now. Somebody can redshirt today, or they can redshirt. I mean, after one snap, and when I played, you lost your redshirt, and so coach put me right in the first game we played against Louisville. I got to throw a hitch route, and that was great. But played a little bit, played tailback a couple of plays, threw the ball out of tailback position, played wide receiver. Got in two or three snaps at Notre Dame when we played, and it was supposed to be a double. It was kind of a double pass. Never worked out for us. They never ran the right defense. So it was great. I mean, I really enjoyed it. But this offense is, in 92 we get inside the red zone and we ran the option. And it was really hard for teams to be able to. They weren't accustomed to Tennessee running the option, but we would run the option, and I had incredible tailbacks. Aaron Hayden, Little Man Stewart at that time, and they just could not have been better tailbacks. And so we're very balanced during that year. Then the 93 year was probably offensively. I guess in 92 I had 13 rushing touchdowns, 11 in the regular season. I had 2 in the bowl game. And so that was the record. And I think for sure I had the record was held by Jimmy Streeter prior to that. And obviously Jimmy Streeter and I grew up, our hometowns were right beside one another. He grew up in Silva. I grew up in Bryson City, North Carolina. So Jimmy Streeter was always a hometown hero for so many people, and just an incredible athlete. And later in life, become a very close friend of mine. And unfortunately, we lost Jimmy a few years back. And but then in 93, we kind of spread it out, and we still ran the option when we needed to. But we were able to spread the offense out. But yeah, running the RPOs would have been incredible. I love to run. I'd probably rather run the ball than throw it.
And that's what's interesting too, because so many, like with Hendon was such a natural runner too, but you had to like tell him, hey, you got to get down. You got to, because he was not afraid of contact. I mean, early on with the Lions, where he just lowers his shoulder, and certain guys are more apt to contact than others. Was that something that coaches had to pull you aside, like, Heath? We know that you're not afraid of contact, but we need you upright here for the full season.
Yeah, occasionally. I mean, you kind of knew, and you just tried to. I mean, it was a different style of ball back there.
Yeah.
Time. I mean, sliding was, you could get out of bounds was, the coach would say get out of bounds, but kind of that open field. I don't ever remember them ever telling me to slide.
Really?
I don't ever. I mean, it was just, you get in the secondary, and I was bigger than most of the secondary guys, so I felt like I was bigger and stronger than they were. I'd run over them. It happened a couple of times in NFL, and they thought I'd run out of bounds, and I'd lower my shoulder and run over top of those guys too. But I got in the NFL, and then they told me to never run the ball, which was, taking half my game away from me.
Is that when you think about just the throwing and seeing yourself more as a running back or more of a runner than a thrower? I mean, do you still is there one throw in particular that you are most proud of or during your Tennessee time?
Yeah, probably the 4th down and 16 against Georgia between the hedges in 92.
Yeah.
That would probably be it. I mean, it was kind of one of those that, you had to make the first down. If not, we lose the game. They were number 2 or number 3 ranked team in the country at that point in time. They had a really great quarterback, really great offense, some really good guys on defense as well. And, we went and, when no one gave us a chance to win. And Coach Fulmer, I think that was his first debut as the interim head coach when Coach Majors had a heart attack and had undergone some surgery. And so he was out. And so Philip stepped in and really, put our team in a situation for us to be successful.
What is the most common question you've gotten from Tennessee fans over the last 30 years? The number one question you've gotten from them over the last 30 years is what?
Probably the favorite game. What's your favorite game?
Do you have an answer for that, or does it change over the years?
Probably there's a couple of games. I mean, I think it kind of 3 games that really, in my first year as a starter, the Georgia game, between the hedges, the Florida game, when we played them at home in the monsoon, the downpour, and in that bowl game, where, I completed like 80% of my passes and had 3 running and 2 rushing. I can't remember exactly. So, I mean, it was a fun game playing. At that time, it was called the Hall of Fame Bowl down in Tampa, Florida. Now it's Outback, and then I think it's changed its name all over again. So,
yeah.
So anyway, but that was probably those years. And then, the next year, kind of the one that I remember the most is some of the heartbreak games, going to Alabama, playing Alabama, and, they go for a 2-point conversion to Tice, and they get the 2-point conversion to Tice. That was just a heartbreaking game. I mean, that was tough. The Florida game that same year was tough, threw 5 touchdown passes against Florida, and we still lose the game. That was just a heartbreaker. So sometimes I remember the ones that, that are my favorites, but, I also remember the ones that I wish we'd have been able to pull it out.
Was there ever a part of you that thought about, hey, maybe I want to be a college football coach down the road?
No. I mean, I helped out a little bit. They had a Arena 3 team here in Knoxville, so I got a little bit about the coaching at that point in time. And then when, when Navy decided that he wanted to play football, and, I decided to start coaching. So started doing that. And I coached him all the way up till he got to college. And so it was fun. I mean, I probably put far too more on him than any quarterback should have been taking, but I let him set protections in high school. I let him, call the running back routes during the middle of a play. And so it was just good. So it really prepared him for, playing at the next level.
When you think back to your NFL and your Tennessee career, when you remember like reading and what people talked about, like your game as a player, what did you always think? Y'all are really missing this part of my game that I think is pretty good.
Oh, I don't know. I can't really recall something I would say that people was missing. I mean, I think what I wanted people to see was like, toughest guy on the field. You know, I mean, it didn't matter. You know, I mean, when I got my injury and that put me out of the game, for good. I mean, I dislocated all 5 of my toes at the same time, and got to the sidelines. They put them back in place.
One at a time.
Oh yeah.
Like they just didn't wait. They were just
all 5 of my toes are on top of my foot.
Oh my goodness.
And so I went to the sidelines and told them to fix it. And I only felt a burning sensation. I'd torn my plantar fascia in 2. I'd destroyed the sesamoid bones in the foot. But I mean, it didn't really hurt. I guess adrenaline, and I felt like I could go out and play. So they taped it up, and the play that I got injured was 3rd down. We were just short of the sticks. And so the next series, I only missed the first play of the next series. And then I finished the entire game. We were playing in Oakland. I got tackled at second base.
Yeah.
Were still on the infield. The A's were still at the time. So I got tackled right at second base, and it was just the ground. It was the dirt infield. And so my foot had no place to go but dislocate. And so,
goodness gracious.
And so, I always felt like that was it. And, my teammates thought I was the craziest person in the world. And, I'd hobble out on the field, and we won the game. And the next week I didn't go to practice. I mean, I practiced, but I only watched. And then I went to the game on crutches and shot my left foot up so much that I could play. And then Ditka took my helmet away from me the second half, and I never played again. So, that was the thing that I always felt like I had gotten injured in Washington, and Gus Frerotte was playing really well at the time. So I really not got a chance to come back in and kind of felt like I'd redeemed myself a little bit, but things were going really, much better in New Orleans at that particular time. We had just come off of 2 wins back to back, and then I never played again. So I can at least say the last 2 games of my career, I finished as we won both of them.
One of the things I'm so curious about, because you've heard, I don't know if you saw what Kevin O'Connell said about quarterbacks here over the last week, where it's just, it's not quarterbacks failing franchises, it's franchises failing quarterbacks. Yeah. And you're seeing that a lot right now at the college level, where a lot of blue chip quarterbacks have really struggled out of the gate here this season. You're seeing guys on their second act really thrive, or third act, like a Sam Darnold, who's playing extremely well in Seattle, or Baker Mayfield, who's having an MVP type season in Tampa. It takes time for some guys. Like for a lot of folks, you have to kind of go through some trial and error. I don't know if
it's as much time as it is the system.
Interesting.
Yeah, the system. I mean, I went to Washington, and so even though we weren't a West Coast system in college here, everything that David Cutcliffe and Saunders and all the others that have put together that Tennessee system, is more of a stylish of the West Coast, even though we were some I formation stuff. But, kind of by my junior year, we were a little bit more spread out, one back type system. And then I go to Washington, and I get in the, what's the Don Coryell, the Ernie Zampese, the North Turner offense. And it was an I formation, straight drop back, don't get out of the pocket, don't move the pocket, play action. And when you don't have a running game, play action doesn't work very well. And it was kind of like it was a 1, 2, 3, throw it away. And, you go through your progressions, 1, 2, 3, throw it away. And the David Cutcliffe was always like, hey, 1, 2, 3, get those feet rolling, and that was my whole deal, just go through the progression and be able to utilize. So, and then when I got to New Orleans, I don't know what kind of offense we actually ran. It was the worst offense in the world, but I still this day have no idea exactly what our theme would have been. It's a little mismatch of everything. But then getting a chance to go with John Gruden for about 4 or 5 months could not have been better. I learned more about football and offenses in the 4 or 5 months I was with John Gruden than I've learned my entire career. And that's taking nothing away from the other coaches. It was the amount of time that I spent with him. At that time, Wade Wilson was there, and Rich Gannon was a starting quarterback. So I was going there to play, hopefully to be able to rehab, get out of crutches, hopefully be able to make it back. And ultimately didn't, but I learned so much about the game. And I realized pretty quickly that the West Coast system would have been exactly the system that I wish I would have gone to from day one. That would have been the perfect place, perfect situation.
So for you, it's less about age and experience and just kind of the up and downs. It's just more
helps.
like it's a scheme. Yeah.
Yeah, they help. I mean, the more you're around it and you understand, because there is a large jump from that NFL or college to the NFL. But, the system plays a lot to do with it. I mean, it's, especially from probably a quarterback more than any other position.
Did you have a welcome to the NFL moment that stands out the most?
Yeah, I got hit third down on the goal line. We're about to punch it in against the Dallas Cowboys, and they went in nickel formation on defense. And, as a former Tennessee guy, Bill Bates hit me right in the mouth.
Yeah.
It was like the sea parted, and my face mask, I only had one of the buckles on one side buckled, and two on the other, one on the other. I thought that was cool, right? Have one unbuttoned. And that my face mask come back, busted my nose, busted my mouth, and that was kind of one of those aha moments that was a punch. I mean, he hit me hard.
So when you think about Tennessee's season thus far, Joey, obviously your neck of the woods, App State, he's been and just an awesome story for the Vols. What have you seen from him in particular that has kind of changed? Because as a quarterback, like you've seen the App State years, and now you're seeing how he's thriving in Heupel scheme. Very different stuff from what the late Sean Clark and his staff were running versus what he's doing and thriving and with Heupel. What is flipped and for Joey at this point?
I would have to say from understanding that what was happening up there, that coaching probably had more to do with it than anything. I think from a coaching standpoint, I think a very challenging and very, very difficult quarterback room in App State. I just don't think that he got what he probably deserved and needed to deserve in that room versus being with Joey Halsley. Listen to the prior quarterbacks, including my own son, about what a challenge that particular room was, and all the quarterbacks that had played there. That was a very challenging quarterback room, and to be able to, to have some freedom and understand, hey, we all make mistakes at quarterback through Joey Halsley and Coach Heupel. It's just I think it's really kind of given him an opportunity. Aguilar just to absolutely just play to hit top of his game. I mean, he's got freedom. He feels relaxed. And probably the biggest attribute that he's bringing to this Tennessee team is his leadership qualities. I think the locker room has always been really good at App State. I think he gained a lot from that locker room, a lot of player led, lead by example. That locker room was really good at App State, and I think he was able to bring a lot of that to Tennessee and lead by the example, be the first one there, the last one to leave, do all the extra work that it takes, and hold your team accountable, but do it in a very respectful way. And I think he was taught that at App State, and I think that carried through to what they were able to see here. And I think it was a different change. Just didn't have that type quality of leadership in the last few years that Aguilar is actually bringing to the table now.
Can I ask you two non-football related questions to wrap up?
Absolutely.
Okay. Western North Carolina, like I said here before we actually jumped on, love Asheville, love Western North Carolina. We go as much as we possibly can. And I'm curious, like I'm a big Black Bear guy. Love seeing the Black Bears out. Do you have a Black Bear story over the years in Western North Carolina that you've seen or encountered? What do you got?
2:00 in the morning.
Yes.
Our dog was barking outside, out of control. And my mom comes into my bedroom. She goes, "There's got to be somebody outside." The dog is just barking. I'm like, "Yeah," I said, "I've heard her. She's been barking for about 30 minutes now." And so my mom said, "Let's go outside." And I said, "You're not going to get Dad." And I was probably only about 11 years old. Mm-hmm. And she said, "No," he said, "it's nothing. Don't worry about it." I'm like, "Okay." And so here my mom and I, in the middle of the night, start walking, and we walk around the corner of the house. Mm-hmm. And as we're walking one way, here comes a black bear the other way, and we meet in the corner. I don't know who was more scared, us or that black bear. But all I know is I told my mom later, "I can't believe that you beat me in the house." So I said, "Well, Mom, that was just my reaction. I just ran." I said, "But the bear ran as much as we did. It was scared of us." But yeah, I mean, we would see them a lot.
I love it.
you'd see black bears all the time. I mean, most of the time they were a nuisance. And I definitely saw, living in Bryson City, right near the Great Smoky Mountain National Park was one thing, but living in Biltmore Forest in Asheville,
yeah,
there was nothing to see a bear at least once a week. You'd see a bear once a week in Biltmore Forest, and a lot of them had the collars on them. They'd get too close to the school, and they have Carolina Days there, and or if the bear got too close, they'd, all right, no kids inside, everybody stays inside. So, just kind of the way of it. It wasn't, you wouldn't think twice about it. I mean, oh, there's a bear in the yard, don't go outside right now or something like that. But, and the truth is they were just looking for something to eat. And,
because they have crazy memories, right?
They never charged anybody or, stay away from the mama bear and her cubs. But other than that, it was good.
I love it. Final thing here, Heath. I grew up big trains guy. One of my dreams for my wife and I is to do the train through Europe. But one of the things I've had on the bucket list here is I have not done the Bryson City train rides. Like I kind of want to do that during Christmas time. I want to do it. It just has not come up, but my wife is in on it. Like this is going to be the year, Heath. Sell me on the train situation in Bryson City.
All right, you need to take the train from Bryson City to Nantahala. That's the route that you want to go.
Okay.
Nantahala to Bryson City. You'll go across the trestle. The trestle will be over Fontana Lake. It'll be a beautiful sight. Go in the fall. It's breathtaking. I think they drop you off at Nantahala. Either eat there. If not, you get to go around the Nantahala Outdoor Center. It's remarkable. And you get to see such beautiful sights. You get to see the lake. And you'll get to see kind of rural America too, right? I mean, you'll get to see a lot of the communities that I grew up in. There's so many good people there. I think everyone loves their hometown. I exceptionally love my hometown. That was just the quality of people and the beauty that hometown. And there's so much to do there. It's not just the train. I mean, there's so many outdoor activities. I mean, you can hike, you can fish. I mean, there's, the bike riding is some of the top in the world in that county. So it's always known as some of the top, most outdoor recreational communities in the U.S. So, Bryson City and, Cherokee's just right up the road, 8 miles away. So you can go there and you can see go to the drama and do the Unto These Hills. You can go to the casino. There's so much, there's so much to do in that community. So it's always a lot of fun. I mean, it's, in the little towns, the little shops in the community, and great places to eat. You got great restaurants. One of my favorite restaurants ever in the world was a little drive-in. It was called Neighbors, and it shut down. Just all of a sudden, the guy retired. They retired and decided to not open it back up. It was the best. People would come from all over Western North Carolina to drive to there to go to the little drive-in. It's like a Sonic, right? But it was kind of the old. You press the button, the person comes out and. They bring you your food and put the little trays on your window. I mean, it was the coolest thing ever, and had the best cheeseburgers I've ever eaten in my life. So I don't know if I just got used to that type of cheeseburger, but it was phenomenal. So great place to eat. So you'll have a great time in Bryson City.
I love it. Heath, what can the good folks support you in any way? What do you want to plug here as we wrap up today?
I think the most important thing is, I always think that's, the university has given me everything, my life changed when I came to UT, and I'm very involved in the athletic program, but also very involved in, I got a degree in psychology at UT. So I'm very involved in that, on the advisory board there, but also on the board of the Baker School, so I spend a great deal of my time now at the Baker School, and Dean Marianne Wademaker just does a phenomenal job there, and I'm just very proud of what she and her team have been able to put together. So it's just awesome. I mean, I think the university is, that's I stay focused there. I've got a lot of nonprofits that I'm involved in. The Friends of the Smokies, growing up there, the Boys and Girls Club here has been great. Beyond Borders, Joe Baker out of in Nashville. Our kids went to school together when he lived in Asheville, and Joe and his wife and his family are just some of the greatest people, and they've helped out during the floods, both in North Carolina and in Tennessee. I'm just involved in a lot. The Museum of Appalachia, it's just so awesome to be able to be a part of some of these programs and to make sure that we keep our heritage and traditions alive. But the university is my love.
I love it. Heath Shuler, thank you so much for the time, and we'll have to check back in again soon.
All right, Chase. Enjoy.
All right, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Chase Thomas Podcast, where I'm still the aforementioned Chase Thomas, coming to you live from Knoxville, Tennessee, Everything School HQ. Joining me over there from Omaha Productions and Rocky Top Insider, Jack Foster. Jumpin' Jack Foster is here. Jack, good afternoon, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well, Chase. Don't know if I can be jumping Jack Foster today, though, as I'm sitting down. Usually at my standing desk. It's a very good adjective to use. Well, I guess it's kind of an adjective and a verb in this connotation. It is a verb, but like jumping is used to describe me in this sense. But sitting down in a hotel room tonight, so a little bit change of scenery, not quite the extravagant background this time around.
I mean, you're relentless, man. Like, you trying to get me out for trivia with the Ryans and everything else this evening. Really going at me. No call, no heads up, hours ahead of time, days ahead of time that this was on the docket. You're just you just throw it at me, man. Like, you and the Ryans are single in your 20s. Totally different world. I'm a happily married man in my mid 30s. It doesn't work like that. You can't just throw that at me late on a Thursday.
Sylvia is basically married. Let's get it right.
No, he's not.
Yes.
There's no basically married. There's married and there's not.
No, Chase, he has a girlfriend of many years that he lives with. That's basically married.
No, it's not. That's not the same.
Yes.
That's a girlfriend. It's not a marriage. It's very different.
And also you don't have kids. So like, I kind of feel like it's all right.
Look, are you explaining how marriage works to me and what I should and should? No, Jack's not how it works. No.
Also, just so everyone knows, this is what I told Chase. He was like, gotta hang out with the wife. I'm like, look, how many times have you seen your wife this year? Think about it in your head. Okay. That number versus how many times you've seen me in person this year. I mean, if the latter is more, then I respect your decision. But if the former is more, then I don't. If it's equal, I'll even respect your decision.
Yeah, you know the answer to that. And I love seeing, I should see my wife the most, Jack Foster, and I'm going to see my wife the most of any other human being probably for the rest of my life. And it's great because I love my wife.
You've never come to play trivia. You've never come.
No. Well,
not once. Zero.
You've asked me, hold on, this is the second time you've asked me, just to be clear. So I am 0 for 2, but you've also asked me the last minute both times. Like, you have to give me a heads up.
It was not last minute.
It was the day of. Yes, it was.
Well, then I've asked you 3 times because there was at least one time where you said you were going to go and then didn't.
Oh, I do remember what you're talking about. Something happened that time. What happened? There was something.
I think there was a car wreck.
That's right. My wife got in a wreck. That's what it was.
Yeah, so of course a very valid,
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Excuse there. Not even an excuse. It's just
I was on the way. I was literally on the way.
I do give you credit. You were going to go that time for sure.
See? All right. We're all out. Like that. There's no complaining from Jack Foster because I literally signed up for the last time we did this. You can't complain.
No,
I literally said yes last time.
That was 2 times ago.
Okay. Now you still got me. That's pretty good. I'm a hermit at this point. Like, to get me out past, like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not. Like, you got to give me heads up, man. I got to mentally prepare for it.
It's at 7:00 in the last 90 minutes.
You know how social I have to be for that? I am an introvert. I do not.
Okay, but you know the people that are going.
It's still social. You know how funny I am, Jack. I've got to be I've got to be I'm the funny guy in the group here, Jack Foster, and the Ryans and everybody else. Right. They're expecting a level of comedy that I don't know if I can bring to the table late on a Thursday night.
I forgot you were entertainment director. I forgot about that.
I have standards, man, and I got to make sure that if I'm going to make an appearance, that I'm going to be able to just I'm going to be able to drop the jokes. I'm going to be able to have that energy to be the funniest guy at the table. Like, I don't know if I have that.
Yes.
It's an interesting dynamic. I have to be able to have my A game here. And I can't promise that.
Well, I would bring the A game for everybody. So
I know. Like that's why I didn't include you. Like I know you're ready to go. Like Jack is built different. He's doing like midnight live shows, all kinds of stuff. Like Jack is up at all hours. You're just
listen to this.
Yeah.
You want to hear something hilarious?
Yeah.
So supposed to have a work meeting at 11 a.m. this morning.
Yeah.
I knew I had an oil change at 1:30. I live currently 4.5 hours away from Knoxville, and I lose an hour coming east. So to make it to Knoxville by 11 to where I could settle somewhere to have solid Wi-Fi to join a work meeting, I left my house at 5 a.m. Got up at 4:40. Remember seeing the clock this morning. Today, leave at 5, grab a Dunkin', boom, I'm out of here. Don't stop once. Get here with like 20 minutes to spare. Work meeting gets canceled as I'm entering Knoxville. Canceled. And I'm like, this is such bad luck because this robbed me of at least 2 hours of sleep. So I just killed time. I actually got lunch with Caleb Jarrow, friend of the pod.
There you go.
So there was something good that come out of it. I'm not really complaining. It's just like, kind of bad luck that I got robbed of a couple hours there.
Have you gotten have you gotten a nap in? Because we're going at 12 hours here.
Not really a napper. Never nap.
Okay. That's a long day, man. If you're doing trivia tonight too, that's a long day.
Well, yeah, full sending it too. May hit up B-dubs with Caleb till like 1 a.m. tonight. So let's.
What does that even mean? Yeah, you're doing you're hanging out with Caleb twice in one day.
Yeah, I mean he can't come to trivia because he's got to cover volleyball. So I'll just. meet up with him.
Here's what's actually happened: is you had Caleb ready to go. Caleb fell through, and then you went to me. Now the truth comes out. You slipped up, Jack. You slipped up, Jack Foster. You slipped up.
Now, Caleb was actually always an inactive. The real coward in the situation is Rick Butler. Yeah.
And you know what? You're calling him a coward, but I bet you this has to do. Rick Butler, newly married, correct?
Yep.
Sorry, man. That's what happens.
Yeah.
We're on IR.
IR.
We are. Like but it's great. I like the thing is you're taken off the table for social situations so many times, and it's great. Like I get to just like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm married.
See, I'd be the opposite. I'd be like, yeah, honey, I'm dipping out.
Oh, hold on. I am going to bookmark this on October 9th, 2025. So future married Jack, I'm going to circle back with him on that comment. And we're going to be like, hey, Jack, remember when you said so-and-so? How's that going?
Yeah. I mean, I may never get married. Who knows? I could fast forward 12 years. I could be hitting you up to go to trivia and I'd be 35. You'd be like 50 or however old you'd be. And you'll be like, I'm hanging out with the grandkids.
You're the worst.
I'm like,
what is that? What?
Man.
Grandkids? 50? What are you talking about?
Yeah, I guess it'd have to be. Yeah. You'd be older if you were a granddad already, probably. So.
God, you just wanted that analogy just to like just be like, hey, remember when you're really old in like just 15 years?
What's really gonna be sad is when you're 60 and have grandkids, and I'm still hitting you up about trivia. And I'm in my 40s.
You're just gonna and I'm like, dude, my brain doesn't work anymore, and you're over here trying to give me a trivia. Yeah, it's like, what are you talking about? I'm useless at that point.
Yeah.
God, just going at me here. But I'm just glad we found the root of the problem, which was I was like 5th on the depth chart here, and you can't like, and then you go to me and you're like, oh, why is it Chase going? It's like you went to Rick and Caleb first. Those all fell through, and now I'm after this. I mean, good job by the Ryans for not jumping in here and pretending that I was 4th on the list here and that it was part of the 4-man crew, because that was not the case. So all around from the Ryans on this front. But Jack Foster, nasty work by you here.
I'm sorry. Jumper did tell me to bully you, by the way, so he is guilty a little bit.
Tell me, what did you say? Pull me?
Bully. He's like bully Chase into coming. He endorsed my, messages to you and peer pressure.
You know what happened?
Peer pressure guy, Ryan Jumper.
Oh yeah, huge. Like you, Sylvia, Caleb, everyone's just locked in now. Like once Shumper opened that door, it's just everyone is just like it's to bully Chase. Like, he's a nice guy. He'll let's just bully Chase.
Well,
like, it was just
you're an
it was
Alabama fan. You're an Alabama fan, so we have to bully you a little bit. You know? Let's
because
get
I
to
picked
baseball.
Alabama to
Come
win
on.
the national title.
Yeah, which they actually might.
Yeah, it looks pretty good right now. Everyone panicked and gave me a lot of grief that first week.
Yeah.
Things are pretty good right now.
Hey, I'm
Need
all
Alabama
for
to
it.
win this weekend, though, because if Tennessee's going to have a shot next week in Tuscaloosa, Bama's got to win. Bama's got to beat Missouri.
Yeah, I think I've told you this before, but I'm all for it. I got a big bet with a buddy of mine that DeBoer's coaching Bama in 2028. So we need Kalen to stick around. Yeah.
I mean, you got some time there. That's a big long term.
It can still go wrong, but it was really bad after week 1. It's improved drastically. So.
Okay. Well, Jack, I don't know how to segue into Tennessee baseball from this.
Yeah, it's hard to.
It's really, really hard. But this is just, wow. What a way to start this podcast, Jack Foster. Let's say Henry Ford, who was compared to Kris Bryant and being used as Kris Bryant by Tony Vitello. And Kris Bryant, obviously, third baseman outfielder for the Cubs, and now with the Rockies the last couple of years. Great player over the years. And I had not considered Henry Ford as a potential third base option for Tennessee. I thought I kind of had Chris Newstrom. Just he made the most sense there if you were going to make a transition to who's going to be third this year. I mean, it would continue the trend of transfers locking down that third base job since Trey Lipscomb, but I just assumed Henry Ford was an outfielder because you have so many questions in the outfield that you would want Henry Ford to be one of those obvious solutions there with where he's played before. I mean, you could have seen him factor in maybe at first, potentially, but I just assumed he was going to be an outfielder. But if he's a third baseman for Tennessee and he wins that job this winter, how does that change the lineup and position outlook for you for Tennessee in 26?
Yeah, it's funny you bring up Chris Newstrom because I think if Ford plays third, I mean, I don't know if Newstrom plays in the infield, right? So maybe it would just be a swap. Maybe it would just be a swap. I mean, if Newstrom's going to play, he would just naturally go to the outfield. I don't think he's going to DH with the amount of hitting talent Tennessee has and also Newstrom's defensive capability. I think Tennessee likes his, talent from a defensive standpoint a lot. So I would think that if Newstrom isn't starting in the infield, he's going to play in the outfield, and feels like it'd be with Abernathy and, of course, Reese Chapman. So, and maybe it's just a clean 1-to-1 swap there in terms of what you were thinking was going to happen in the spring.
Yeah, I think Newstrom is going to play somewhere. I'm a big Newstrom guy.
He's a good corner outfielder.
Yeah, I think he might be right. And then it's like, who's center? Because Jay Abernathy's been working in the infield too. So it's like, is Jay going to be an infielder? Because I thought he was going to be center field. Like he made the most sense there.
Well, yeah, Jay Abernathy's funny because I was in the minority, I think, on this right after the season ended when everyone's so excited to, look ahead to the next season. What's the lineup going to be? No one really cares in the fall. I mean, they're caring more because Tennessee baseball is such a wagon. But when football starts, it dominates. So people kind of forget about thinking about what Tennessee baseball's lineup could be in the spring as much as you do like in late June when the season just ends. It's just natural. But when that was happening, I thought Jay Abernathy was a clear choice to start at second the following year. That is his natural position. That's what, I mean, most every good player is going to be recruited as an infielder, but Jay was like a savant in the infield in high school. So, and he had obviously gotten some reps there at least in his true freshman season. So I thought it was an easy plug and play. Maybe Manny's at short, sure Ariel can compete. But now, but my point is when I was saying that, it felt like most people I talked to were like, oh no, Jay center fielder, book it. And then now he's getting reps in the infield. Seems a bit murky as to where he fits in. Again, like Newstrom, Abernathy's a guy that's going to play. It's just still a bit of a question mark as to where.
Yeah, because I mean, short feels like a lock that it's Manny Marin. Like I feel like it'd be a huge upset if Manny Marin's not your shortstop in 26. I think Levi Clark is your first baseman. So you got two infield spots there. I think there's going to be some interesting catcher competition.
Just between Garrett and Stone
and then the freshman. How do you pronounce his last name? Gridling? What is his name? Trent.
Yeah.
Grint?
I've not heard it said, but I would say Grinlinger or
Grinlinger?
Grindlinger. Yeah.
Grindlinger? Yeah. But obviously a big time commitment, number 2 high school catcher in the nation. So it's a lot of talent, and I could see some rotation there. But like you said, like there's going to be some big time battles here. Like where does Blaine Brown, who's mashing, where's his best spot? Like you talk about Tyler Myatt, like he's the favorite for DH, right? Like
Yes, I would assume he's a Griffin Merritt-esque kind of DH, you know.
But I don't want to say wrench because wrench is like a negative connotation, but I would say wrinkle. Like Henry Ford at third is an interesting wrinkle for Tennessee baseball in 26.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you're right. And it's funny that, Billy Amick wasn't Tennessee's best hitter by any stretch, but when he come in, it was like, oh, this guy could be Tennessee's best hitter,
Mm-hmm.
And then last year, Andrew Fisher comes in, plays first all year, but came in thinking he's going to play third. Oh, this is going to be Tennessee's best masher, at least. Maybe not just best, consistent hitter, but everyone had Fisher hitting the most homers. And then he ended up being the best overall player. This year, I think people are falling in line with that on Ford. And if he ends up being the third baseman, it's just like every single year, it's the same. Even Zane, like again, Zane wasn't as hyped up as these other guys I've mentioned, or in the preseason. But when the season actually started, he wasn't the best hitter, but he was the most clutch hitter. He hit the biggest homers, I think, still in that season for the majority of it. So yeah, it's just a lot of transfer third basemen potentially, and guys that can really hit the baseball.
I'm excited to see how it all plays out. And you talk about like it's football's dominating, but I mean Tony Vitello, the conversation there dominated Tennessee sports last week. Like, is he going to go? Pros and cons. I mean, we talked about on this program. It seems like thankfully that's died down.
Yeah.
But you also like I was in Chattanooga this weekend, Jack. I saw the amount of people that were walking around downtown to that game, an inter squad scrimmage in Chattanooga at AT&T Field, where the final home game for the Lookouts before they move to their new stadium downtown next year. The hype is real, and there are people all around Tennessee's fan base that are happy to talk Tennessee baseball here in early October.
Yes, it is still very popular. I agree, but as far as just consistent conversation about the following season, Tony's a different case because it was just like, oh, is he going to leave? But as far as like, hey, who you got as the midweek catcher, just deep conversations about lineups and different, collections of players and rotations. That kind of talk is typically saved for January and also is really popular right as soon as the season ends. In the fall, I feel like it dies down pretty considerably.
That's fair. Your favorite Vol transfer baseball player that you can't wait to watch next season and why?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's really tough to narrow it down because there's so many.
Yes.
We talked about Henry Ford being the guy you think could just be Tennessee's best player. There's plenty. I mean, the whole pitching staff is transfers, so you could go down the list there. I think what Blaine Brown could do with this coaching staff, like, this guy is just an awesome athlete. How talented he is. And you saw flashes of it in his season at Rice a year ago as a two-way player, with these maestros that Tennessee has on its coaching staff. Can Blaine Brown just become an absolute star? That's something I'm most maybe excited to watch. The word excited here, maybe Blaine Brown fits that bill. Intrigued, talked about Tyler Myatt last week. Just how well can he hit this year? Garrett Wright, when you talk about the catcher battle, does Tennessee finally have, maybe finally is a bit unfair to some of these pass catchers, but can Garrett Wright just be a better hitter than some of these pass catchers and truly be a guy for the Vols? There's multiple different directions to go with this question, but those guys. And then Landon Mack, how good is he going to be? Is he really going to be that star transfer, starting pitcher for Tennessee like they've had, with Liam Doyle and a couple of other guys, Chase Dolander? I don't think anyone's expecting Landon Mack to be to that caliber, but I think people are expecting him to be a dude. And maybe some things haven't gone the best for him in preseason, or not preseason, but fall ball so far. So can he be that star arm for the Vols?
Yeah, I think of all that, it's Blaine Brown for me.
Yeah.
Because I just think he's so much boomer bust to me, where it's
Yes,
a huge
definitely.
jump. You know what I mean? Like, I just think he's either going to be awesome, like a home run, or it's like, nah, that it didn't work. Like, it was just a big jump. You know what I mean? Like, I just think Blaine is huge boomer bust potential, but that's what makes him really interesting.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. If the word is excited, which I think it is in this specific question, can't wait to watch. Yeah, I can't wait to see what Blaine Brown can do in orange and white.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, this guy is a freak of an athlete. He's awesome. So with the coaching to kind of refine his tools and tighten it up a little bit, can he be an all SEC caliber player potentially? Who knows? We'll have to see.
Who's the guy you think Tennessee needs to have a big time game the most against Arkansas on Saturday?
Yeah, I that's a tough question. I think this offense is going to roll. I'm curious to see, you're a jaded Vol a little bit and you think things are going to go wrong all the time. But
That's not true. What are you talking
yeah,
about?
you are. Yeah, it's fine though. It's fine. You are very pessimistic by nature, I think.
Well, hold on. This whole show, just an absolute attack on me. But no, I'm more I'm in the middle. I think I'm more in the middle. I think pessimistic's a little too much.
Okay.
I'm more
Well, I mean,
rational, I guess.
yeah. Okay. Well, if Arkansas is going to make this a game, it's because Taylor Green plays out his mind and Arkansas scores points at will. Fair? Because Tennessee is going to put up some points on the
Yeah.
Razorbacks. I mean, that is how I envision this game going. I think it could be a blowout. Really do.
Mm.
So I just look to the secondary. Ty Redmond, those guys. Colton Hood's had a heck of a season, but just looking at this secondary because Bama's coming, man, and or you're going to Bama, I should say.
Yeah.
And their passing offense is amazing. So Ty Simpson has been one of the best quarterbacks in the country since week one. They got some dudes out wide, Bernard Williams, um, Horton. So it's going to be a handful to guard those guys. And especially, with if Jermon McCoy's still out, of course. So just looking at these guys to see how well they can play against an Arkansas unit that's going to try and run up the scoreboard as best they can and are really going to sling it. How do those guys fare in this kind of matchup?
Yeah, I think Redmond's an interesting one. I think Josh Josephs has to have a really good game. I think Tyree West. I think they need to clean up some stuff on the outside.
Right.
Stop the run a little bit better because Talon's going to be running. They're going to try and cut the corners and see if what Tennessee's edges do. Are they going to be able to contain? Or are they going to be better on the outside? Ty Redmond is someone who will continue to get targeted. Like Petrino and everybody else. Colton Hood, you're not throwing at Colton Hood. Colton Hood is a first-round NFL guy in 26. So he has nothing to prove for me. I just assume he's going to have a great game.
What a find he's been.
Back-to-back years, Jermod and Colton Hood in the corner spot for Willie Martinez and company. I mean, it's kind of crazy that he's played so well that he's now played himself out of Tennessee for 2 years, which stinks because he's getting mocked in the first round. And you're like, well, that's awesome, but it also kind of stinks because I thought we'd get 2 years at Colton. And it seems like he's playing so well that probably a one-and-done guy, which is pretty crazy, but also great for Tennessee if they have 2 first-round corners in 26, which is on the table, which is pretty wild with Colton and Jermod. So that's I like that one, but you could probably have, I think we're assuming Ricky Gibson's back next year, and then Ricky and Ty. That's still pretty solid. So Tennessee will be just fine at corner still in 26. But yeah, I like that. You're a fantasy guy, Jack Foster. Let's end here. Start 'em, sit 'em. SEC quarterbacks you like this week and don't. Who would you start and who would you sit this week at quarterback?
Yeah, so I would expect a lot of fireworks in the Tennessee-Arkansas game. I think Joey Aguilar has, of course, been a wagon statistically. I think Taylor Green, even if he turns the ball over a couple times potentially on Saturday, is still going to have a really nice stat line for fantasy purposes. You look across the SEC, there's games that could be some slogs this weekend. We'll see what happens with Georgia Auburn. That game could be low scoring. Same with Florida A&M. Of course, don't want to trust Arch Manning right now. it's a we'll see with what happens at Mateer, but of course he's one of the better players in the league. So if you play college football fantasy and have John Mateer, you wouldn't get away from that.
Yeah.
And then, beyond that, Trinidad Chambliss could be going to New York, which is it's honestly one of the craziest storylines of this entire season.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how Austin Simmons versus Trinidad is remotely a discussion anymore. Simmons wasn't even that good when he had opportunities early in the year. Chambliss is awesome. Like, they're so lucky he's been this good, because I was not high on Ole Miss this year. I thought Simmons would be fine, but I thought Ole Miss had holes and would be a team 15 through 25-ish kind of squad this year, talking about just in the AP poll throughout the year. A 9-win team, 8 to 9-win team, fine SEC squad, but not making the playoff. Now with Chambliss, they could be a national championship contender. Seriously, they look really good. They should have blown out LSU. Like, LSU was so lucky to remain in that game. So of course, if you play fantasy and have Trinidad Chambliss, you're not getting away from that, especially in a matchup at home against Wazoo.
Yeah, I think at this point, because Simmons is still super young. I think he's 19. I think you could sit Simmons and be like, we'll run it back next year.
Sure.
Because Trinidad, I think you just shut it down with the injury and everything else. And you just have like a whole thing of like, we're going to get him right, shut him down, and then go into next year with you being our guy again. And let Trinidad ball out and see if he gets drafted.
Wait, is he draft eligible?
Yeah, he's 23. Trinidad spent a lot of
he's
time
old.
Okay. Yeah. So that's what I would do. And just keep Austin happy, and have him ready. Be like, look, man, you'll be 20 or whatever it is going into next year. So I would, it's not the end of the world if it's not this year for Austin. And it seems like he's been a great teammate to Trinidad throughout all this. So,
yep. You see the pictures and the videos and the quotes, like he's been very supportive and super jubilant anytime Trinidad's been doing something. So it's a good problem to have, of course, that Ole Miss has. So.
I think if you had to look at all the SEC quarterbacks this week to start, it'd be Joey Aguilar. Aguilar.
I mean, Arkansas's defense is just cheese. I mean, I didn't want to be like, oh, this is a Tennessee pod, and he's saying Aguilar. Like, dude, Tennessee's going to torch Arkansas's defense. They are not going to have anything for him. So with Brazel being as good as he is, that's another thing. I think Hendon made. I wouldn't say just completely made, but Hendon elevated Hyatt, I think, more than the other way around. With as good as Brazel is playing right now and how unbelievably efficient he's been at 50-50 balls, he is elevating Aguilar. Like, Aguilar is better because Brazel is this superstar this year. Not taking anything away from Joey. I think he's been awesome and exceeding expectations. But when you compare 22 to this year, which so many are doing, specifically at the receiver spot, I do think Brazel's season has been more impressive than Hyatt's because Hendon was the dynamo of that offense. I think Brazel is for this one.
Yeah, and I think the difference too is Brazel's like a combo of Tillman and Hyatt, you know, where he can get those 50-50. Hyatt was the burner. Like, Hyatt was open and Hyatt was great. Like, I loved the Jalen Hyatt season in 22, but Brazel's more complete to me. Like, Brazel is someone who can do things in the red zone. He can do things over the top. He can do things over the middle, on the outside. Like, there's just, if he's not open, you can still throw it up to Kris Brazel. Like, that wasn't what was happening with Jalen Hyatt. And I love Jalen Hyatt, but I do think Brazel, like you said, I love that point of just like Brazel has elevated more Aguilar and Hendon elevated Hyatt more, which is not a negative on either end. It's just how it goes. Like, those are all positives for the university and those players. So yeah, I like that. I mean, Brazel's, he might be wide receiver 1, and like Tennessee might have
he is.
Like, but think about how crazy Tennessee's draft is shaping up to be in 26 if this holds. You might have cornerback 1 and Colton Hood and or Jermon McCoy, 2 corners taken in the first round. You might have a wide receiver taken in the first round in Brazel. You might have an edge taken in the first round in Joshua Josephs. You might have an offensive tackle taken in the first or second round in Lance Hurd, depending on how he measures out and what kind of season he has. Like, it's just kind of funny. Like, Tennessee's going to have one of their best early drafts if this holds in a long time.
Yeah, you could argue that roster-wise, this may end up being the best roster Heupel's had. I think there was more pop, especially in 22. But this roster has a ton of pro prospects here, and a lot of older guys who are flourishing in a way. So
Yeah.
That's the thing about 23 and even last year. Some of these guys that are really good this year just were younger, like Carter and Josephs. Like those guys just took a little while. They're blue chip guys, but they just took a little while to become complete difference makers,
Yeah. Jack Foster, what can the good folks check out from you and the team over at Omaha Productions and Rocky Top Insider this week?
Yeah, number one thing, if you are listening to this and love college football, there is nothing else you should be doing on Saturday night at 11:30 p.m. Eastern than tuning into Scott Van Pelt and Stanford Steve breaking down the action of the day on the SV Pod. It's a live stream for the first time ever on ESPN's YouTube channel, 11:30 p.m. Eastern time. I'm the head producer of that show, so it's a big deal to me. This is a big deal to our team. We are super pumped to be taking this thing live. I know Scott is as well. Took a couple weeks to iron out all the details, so we're excited to get this thing going. Mean and Kind show twice a week. A lot of fun. Recaps with Dominique Foxworth every Tuesday. Her and a guest preview the slate every Thursday. We got 4 shows a week for Always College Football with Greg McElroy. It's a Sunday through Wednesday, so a lot of jam-packed stuff early in the week. Had Josh Pate on this week to preview Week 7. That was fun. And then new to Omaha that I've been working on is the Schrager Hour with Peter Schrager. And he's been a delight. And he had Kevin O'Connell on this week, who is legitimately one of the coolest dudes I've ever just heard speak in a conversational setting. Of course, I've heard O'Connell speak before this, but not in this way. I've never watched a full-on laid-back O'Connell interview before, and my God, is this guy awesome. Kevin O'Connell is the freaking man. He is just, I see why people gravitate toward him so much, players, being that in the league, and talked about how good of a connection he has with his quarterbacks and his journey, giving credit to guys of the past like Mike Pett and Jake Gruden. It's a fantastic conversation. If you love ball, can't recommend it enough.
I love it. Jack Foster, always a pleasure, and I'll talk to you very soon.
Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas Podcast. Hell yeah.